Hello guys and welcome to my channel. If you're watching this video, then you're probably in the middle of your application to a university of your dreams, or you're just planning your application. But this video is about one of the most important parts of it, and this is personal statement. So believe me, I've been there and I've done like 7 applications in my life, and I wrote all of those personal statements, and I wanted to share my ideas, my thoughts about what should be in that letter. Now, the first thing is that you need to remember that every single university has its own question. Sometimes they would ask you, why would you want to apply to this particular university, why this particular program, and why at this period of time. And some universities, for example, like Stanford, if you're applying to their MBA program, they would ask you what matters most to you and why. So completely different topics. And the first thing you should do, you should analyze the universities that you're applying to and make this list of questions from the personal statements, and make sure you have plenty of time. So when I remember my application, I remember that my first personal statement took me like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, because the first draft that I started doing, I deleted everything because I hated it. And the same thing happened to my second and third, because this is such a creative process, especially when the question is so complicated, like Stanford's, for example. You cannot really just sit down in one evening and write this motivation letter. This is something, what I would recommend, like open notes on your iPhone or whatever phone you're using, and write down that question. And every day before you go to sleep, just brainstorm a little, and if you have some ideas, write them down. So this way you would be able to summarize all of your ideas throughout like 3 or 4 weeks, and then sit down and kind of make the whole text about what you've thought. Another thing you should understand, that the university already has all of the numbers and facts about you from your application. They know where you work, they know all of the scores that you've scored on the standardized test, they know your GPA, they even know your achievements from your previous jobs or volunteering experience, because you have that on your resume. So your personal statement is the only opportunity to show to the university what kind of person you are. So I would say try to remember a book, a person, an event that really affected you during your life. Remember when something happened and you were like, oh, this is what I want to do in my life. This is what I want to do next, how I want to change my life. So this is something that universities are looking for in your personal statement. Something that formed you as a personality. So really use this chance to show your stories and to share with the university what really affected your life choices. And this should be done in a really friendly way. I would say it should be still academic, it should be still formal, but tell all of the edges of that story. Don't be afraid to tell that you failed or how you felt depressed or nervous, because as I said, they want to see a real person. And I've helped a lot of students with their applications to American and Canadian universities. And from my perspective, your personal statement is around 30% of your whole application, which means that you need to spend 30% of your preparation time on your personal statement. So it really, really matters, because I know sometimes you're like, oh, this is just a letter. I would rather spend more time on preparing for GMAT or SAT or GRE, but really no, it should be almost the same time as your preparation for a standardized test. Another thing that I always recommend my students to mention is mention something about your university. Like when I was researching my universities, when I was choosing a program to apply to, I would really go through the list of the courses that they have. And one of the universities, I think it was University of Florida, had this course like economics for startups. And I was like, wow, this is the first time I see something like a course for startups in the curriculum. And I highlighted that in my motivation letter. So I said, I'm applying to your university because you're the only university from my list that has this startup course. And I'm so interested in startups and I would really love to participate. And this really shows the university that you've taken your time, you've done your homework, and you researched the program and you know every aspect of it. If you were able to connect with the professor, it's not necessary to do that, but maybe what I did, again, I'm sharing with you. So I went through a list of professors that read the courses at that university, and I went through their articles. There was this lady, I think it was University of Illinois, and she was a professor there, and she wrote an article about dot-com crash in 2000s, and I read her article and I was like, wow, this is really interesting. And I got really excited that I would have an opportunity to work with her and attend her lectures and maybe share some ideas. So I also put it in my personal statement. I wrote that I went through a list of your professors, I read their articles, and one of the professors really touched me. She really touched the topics that are of a major interest to me. So yeah, I would be amazed by the opportunity to work with such people. And finalize your personal statement with something why a university should admit you, why they should so-called hire you, because they are also working on their portfolio of students and they want you to participate in their activities, to bring something new to a group of students. So I would mention in my essays, I would write like, I'm very active socially. I sing in different, concerts that were in our universities. Well, I used to sing. I travel a lot. I read a lot. I'm an active participant of different activities. So really, the university should see that they're going to benefit from you being in the class. And one of the most important things about your motivation letter, personal statement, whatever you call it, it has to be checked. And it has to be checked not by you, because sometimes we have these thoughts in our head and we try to kind of put them into words and they do not really make sense to anybody else, just to us. And you do not want that to happen to you, because as I said, 30% of your application in just one piece of paper, 500 words, 700 words, and you want every single word to have a meaning, and you want it to be really proper grammatically, because also universities use it to evaluate how correct you are, how is your grammar, how able you are to communicate your thoughts. The best way to do it is use the help of a professional. I recently got connected to the guys from academichelp.net, and I realized there's the whole resource where you can get all of your papers checked, and not just your personal statement, but also all of the essays you'll be writing throughout your university life. And the most exciting thing is that they not only check your grammar, because that's important, but also they would tell you whether a particular word in a particular sentence would make sense, or it's better to replace it with some other word. They would do some research and they would tell you what's wrong and what's right, especially if you're a foreign student. Like, my English was pretty good before I started my application process, but when I wrote my motivational letter and I showed it to an American, and he was like, Marina, what did you mean by this sentence? And it was like the whole waste of 2 lines of my motivation letter, because the people who would be reading it, they wouldn't be able to get what I wanted to say. Another cool thing, when you're uploading your personal statement to academichelp.net, they would also tell you your estimate grade, which is super cool if you don't feel confident or you still want somebody to evaluate the content of your essay. They would tell you your grade in terms of grammar, content, style. So you will get the whole evaluation. And you know what's the best thing about it? Is the price. Now, when I was looking for help to check my motivation letters, I researched a lot of websites, and what I found was like $400 per motivation letter, and I was like, I don't have that money, because I still need to pay for my exams, tuition, flights, whatever. But these guys, they only charge like from $4.5 to $7.5 per page, and your average personal statement is around 1 page or 2 pages. And I think it's great value for money. So I will leave a link below. You guys should totally check it. And once you finalize your personal statement, make sure you have like 4 days for somebody to check it, like academichelp.net. And then when you get your personal statement back, just reread it, make sure they corrected everything. The price is different because of various deadlines. I would suggest you have at least a week before you submit your application for somebody to check it. So Academic Help guys can also do it in just 1 day, but then you will have to pay more, so it's $7.5 per page. But if you have like 3 days, it's just $4.5 per page, which is amazing. So my advice to you guys is start writing your personal statement as early as you can. I would say like 4 months prior to submitting your application, because you would need to have this thoughts, you would need to summarize everything, and you would need somebody to check it. And then I would suggest applying to 5 or 6 universities. That means 5 to 6 different motivation letters. If one university requires 2, then like it's more. So take your time, have somebody check it, use academichelp.net guys. I will leave a link below. Please let me know what are your thoughts about your personal statement. When is your application deadline so I would know what to film about? I know you're all really stressed, but just, relax, breathe in, breathe out. You're gonna get to that university and fingers crossed for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in the next videos. Bye bye.